What up, what up, what up? I want to say welcome. Welcome to the Republic of Rants. This is a new channel. It's about ranting, I want to just say thank you for clicking on that video, taking your time out to listen to what I got to say. My thoughts, my opinions, my perspective on different things taking place in the world, media, entertainment, politics, etc., etc. This is a channel where I rant about various things that are going on in the world. I don't hold any punches. I'm not afraid to talk about race, politics, religion, anything. It is what it is. So I want to say thank you for checking out this video and checking out my channel. I appreciate it, I know you hear that James in the background. That's that James, that's that old school, We came to rap. James Brown was really the first rapper, and we came to rap. Came to rap and rant, My family, my friends, my loved ones, my day ones, they say, boy, you always ranting. You always talking about something. So I say, you know what? I wanted to come put something on wax, So I had to make a channel about what I do best, which is ranting, which is talking. I talk shit and swallow spit. That's what I do. Like they say. So I just want to say thank you, for coming to check out my video. I'm a King ranter. I'm a Kanye West ranter. I'm a Donald Trump ranter. I'm a Stephen A. Smith ranter. That's the guy you see on the screen right there, Stephen A. Smith. Now, if you don't know who that gentleman is, he's a world-renowned radio host, television host, sportscaster, debater. He has many different nationally syndicated shows on television and radio, XM, various media outlets. And he has a new nationally syndicated show. So I was listening to Stephen A. Smith the other day, and he was talking about the Cincinnati Bengals head coach, Marvin Lewis, and Marvin Lewis's ineptitude and his underperformance as a head coach. And I couldn't disagree. I couldn't argue. Marvin Lewis has been the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals for 15 seasons, has never once won a playoff game. That's ridiculous, and it's inexcusable. You can't excuse that. You can't excuse that. And I'm not trying to defend that. But my problem with his comments are Stephen A. Smith went on to say that he believed, in his opinion, that Marvin Lewis, because he was still employed with the Cincinnati Bengals and actually just got a 2-year extension after missing the playoffs back-to-back years. He believed that Marvin Lewis was potentially holding back blacks, Hispanics, and Latinos who are coming up in the coaching ranks from getting new head coaching jobs. And I said, what? I couldn't believe that, because that just didn't make sense to me. You're blaming Marvin Lewis' blackness for being an employee. That's essentially what he's doing. He's blaming Marvin Lewis's blackness for being an employee. Marvin Lewis is an employee of a franchise called the Cincinnati Bengals. They are under the banner of the NFL, which is a private sector corporation. So Marvin Lewis has no hiring and firing power. The CEO of the team is white. The general manager of the team is white, both of whom are his bosses. Marvin Lewis has no power. And it's almost like he did not want to acknowledge the large elephant in the room that the NFL has already acknowledged is there, which is race, which is racism. The NFL has implemented a rule. They have legislated a rule called the Rooney Rule, which is kind of ironic because I met a man and he told me he played for the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers back in the day. He played for Art Rooney and the Rooneys. And that Mr. Rooney actually told him if you wanted to be with his current wife at the time, was his girlfriend, but his current wife, if you wanted to date that white woman, you couldn't play for this team. So it's kind of ironic that the rule will be called the Rooney Rule, which is based on discriminatory practices when Mr. Rooney was being very discriminated. But that's just a side note. Let's get back to the story. So I don't understand why Stephen A. Smith would sit there and he would say that, oh, Marvin Lewis is potentially holding back black people when the NFL has the Rooney Rule. And the Rooney Rule states that each team, when they have a new vacant coaching position for their head coaching job, they have to interview at least one person who falls under the category listed as a minority, which is anybody other than a white man. So they have to at least interview one minority candidate. Now, you cannot force a team to hire a black coach. Like I said earlier, the NFL and its franchises are private corporations. You can't force someone to be hired in a private corporation. So if the NFL to go as far as they did and say, hey, we're going to implement this rule, and you have to at least interview a person who falls under the category listed as a minority, that means they feel they have a serious racial problem when it comes to the hiring practices of people of color to positions of power. So for Stephen A. Smith to sit there and say he blamed Marvin Lewis's blackness, and you blame the Cincinnati Bengals as an inept franchise and disorganized franchise, is wrong. It's negligent. It's dangerous. It's just wrong, because those are the same narratives that people say and groups say and certain news organizations and networks put out there about black and brown men of color, or people of color. They say, hey, look at the problems in America. Look what's going on in America. Let's blame those Negroes. Let's blame those Mexicans. There's too many of them here. Those are narratives that certain groups like to put out about black people. So it's dangerous. It's gross negligent. It's a false parallel. It's a false narrative. It's dangerous. As a man of his stature, of his magnitude, all the accomplishments he's accomplished, to come out and say something like that. And my question to Stephen A. Smith would be, if you're going to blame Marvin Lewis for possibly stifling and stumbling future black coaches, future Latino coaches, Hispanic coaches, I say Latino and Hispanic because he also named Ron Rivera in that radio show. Ron Rivera is a Mexican coach. He's a Mexican man. He coaches the Carolina Panthers. So I would ask Stephen A. Smith, how come there's only one Ron Rivera? Is that Marvin Lewis's fault there's only one? Look at Norm Chow. He's an Asian man. He was offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans. He had his own struggles and stripes trying to become head coach in the National Football League. So to not acknowledge race as being the number one factor why there might not be more black and brown head coaches, more Asian, more minority head coaches in the NFL, to blame that on Marvin Lewis is wrong. It's negligent and it's dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. Then he even went as far as to say Marvin Lewis might be the reason why more Sean McVays might not get coaching opportunities. Now, Sean McVay, he's a young white coach. He's the coach of the Los Angeles Rams. I believe he's only 31, 32 years old, very young. And when he named Sean McVay, I didn't understand that at all. It didn't make sense to me at all because Sean McVay is a white man. The owners of all 32 franchises are white. The people who run the league are white. So why would you feel that they would stop hiring white coaches? That didn't make sense to me at all. So I just want to say Stephen A. Smith's comments were ridiculous and they were wrong. I normally don't say people's opinions and comments are wrong because those are your opinions, your comments, but they were wrong. And they were ridiculous. And quite frankly, no pun intended, they didn't need to be said. Race didn't need to be injected in this situation because it wasn't the place for it. So I don't want to take up too much of your time on this video. I just wanted to just give my opinions about those comments that Stephen A. Smith said. I'm going to try to put the link in the description box so you can go hear the comments for yourself. Those comments were inflammatory and they were wrong. So if you liked the video, if you liked my commentary, you disliked it, doesn't matter. I'm just trying to invoke thought. That's all. I'm just trying to invoke thought. But I appreciate you just listening to me. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to, give you my thoughts and my opinions. This is the first video amongst many. So, hey, if you like what I said, my commentary, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down, it doesn't matter. It is what it is, I respect it. So I want to say thank you once again, and many more videos to come as we ride out listening to this James, old school James. James was the first rapper, and I'm out.